Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So I woke up at 9 o'clock and I was quite awake. I was thinking of maybe I'll stay awake, but no, should really get a little bit of extra sleep. And I woke up, I don't know, 11:30, 11:38, I think it was. And, uh, and I feel more tired than I felt then. It's like, oh, come on, man. No, really. I don't know. I don't know.
Um,
I don't
okay,
know.
so I was ready, but
I
my
saw you were exactly at 11. It seemed like.
yes,
Mm.
yes, I was a bit before 10:30. I was here,
Oh,
and I woke up at 9 again,
oh,
and
same as both of us at 9.
yes,
Oh,
and my cousin's wife is hospitalized here just next to my building in a hospital because she had a baby, uh, this baby girl today. So Mama went there, and people who are visiting her are some of them are coming here for lunch. So I have to just make a bit of
ah, okay. So you were making lunch?
mm,
Yeah?
yes, yes.
Good, Beena. Good, 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 good. Good, good, good. Good, good. But you slept all right? You sound fresh. You sound good.
Oh yes, I'm good.
Oh, good, Beena. Oh, good, 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 good. Ah, ah. All right, let's continue with Sophie.
Yes, yes. What's the time? We have in Urdu, we have a very funny way to tell time. For me, it's funny.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, like uh, in English, if I try to translate it exactly, uh, what is the word for striking the bell?
Ringing the bell. You ring a bell.
Mm, okay, well, especially when something like in church, you just hit that.
Still ringing a bell.
Okay, okay. So it is like when I try to tell that today, right now, it's 1 o'clock, 4 minutes past that. So I will say that it's one ringing and, and four
Ah,
minutes.
wow.
One ringing. Yeah. It is funny.
It's most interesting. I guess it's from the old time when it was the bell and that was where the time came from.
Hmm. Must be.
Interesting. Most interesting.
Just a minute.
Where'd you go, Beena?
Just a
Then,
minute. I'm just
oh,
talking.
sure, 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 sure. Oh.
Okay, let's
Ah,
get straight to Sophie.
I was listening to an interview with Rachel Maddow with Trump's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen. I don't know if they give him much press there, but he wrote a book, and this is a big interview. He's saying really interesting stuff here. He's saying that Trump had this plan because on the thing that he went to jail for, this guy Michael Cohen, he was specifically directed to do it by Trump, which means Trump will have to go to jail too. Um, but Trump has this plan to get indicted. Then between the election, if he loses, and when they take over in January, he resigns and has he's the vice president Mike Pence pardon him, so he gets away with it.
Mhm. Um, I think we were sharing with you uh, uh, Trump's son-in-law, Krishna.
Mm.
Huh? Yeah, we went to Saudi for arm twisting and said that, okay, if you didn't support us, Joe Biden will come, and it's a different policy for Saudi from Joe Biden, so you need to support. So all the BMNs are getting together for this. And Thomas is saying that, of course, Trump will win because it's a lie. They are selling because people love him, and blah blah blah. But if by chance he lose, I will leave this country because this will not be a place to live anymore.
Oh my goodness. Well, goodbye. Sorry. I think most people will be very happy to see Trump supporters leave. Where will he go to?
Of course. Okay. So, what a lot of old junk you have collected, she said. Now, then just think of how many centuries of history I have preserved in this room. I wouldn't exactly call it junk. Do you manage an antique shop or something? Alberto looked almost pained.
Ah,
We can't all let ourselves be washed away by the tide of history, Sophie. Some of us must tarry in order to gather up what has been left along the riverbanks.
interesting.
What an odd thing to say. Yes, but nonetheless true, child. We do not live in our own time alone. We carry our history within us. Don't forget that everything you see in this room was once brand new. That old 16th century wooden doll might have been made for a 5-year-old girl's birthday by her old grandfather. Maybe then she became a teenager, then an adult, and then she married. Maybe she had a daughter of her own and gave the doll to her. She grew old and one day she died. Although she had lived for a very long time, one day she was dead and gone, and she will never return. Actually, she was only here for a short visit. But her doll, well, there is, there it is, on the shelf. Everything sounds so sad and solemn. Solemn. Hmm? Solemn. What
Solemn,
is the word?
solemn.
Solemn.
Mm.
What it means?
Solemn is like what you are at a funeral.
Okay.
Solemn.
Okay. Everything sounds so sad and solemn when we
It's kind of
talk
in the
like that.
word, isn't it?
Life is both sad and solemn. We are let
Can
into
be both sad and
wonderful
solemn. Yeah.
and okay. What I'm doing is when I'm talking, oh sorry, reading, I'm also peeling garlic.
Feeling garlic?
Not peeling garlic. No.
Wow, interesting. I like that, Beena. That's very cool. Wow, that's fantastic. How are you managing that?
Oh, I'm just reading it and right now doing that because Amy Amy needs that because people are coming for lunch.
I
That's what
love
she
it.
said.
I
Okay.
love it. Oh, I love multitasking. You take your time, do what you need to do. Don't worry.
Ah, this is what this is.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to pause and that, whatever, it's not a problem.
Oh,
So,
I did that already. So I've done my chores, and then okay, a bit extra, and then I said, okay, now it's my time. Hmm. Anyway, so, life is both sad and solemn. We are let into a wonderful world. We meet one another here, greet each other, and wander together for a brief moment. Then we lose each other and disappear as suddenly and unreasonably as we arrived. Yes.
by the way, on that history, he
Mhm,
says, yes, we carry our history within in us. We may do so, in the form of DNA, certainly.
mhm,
However, we have to be very careful of what we believe is our history as opposed
mhm,
to what it actually is. What our
mhm.
DNA history is, this is a very different thing to potentially to what we read. I am, massively suspicious of what I read as history. Yes, okay. I I have an idea of history. I understand history. I enjoy history, but I'm also, very acutely aware that history is his story,
Personal, yes, personal perspective.
not
Oh,
just
and some
personal
ideas also.
perspective, but just in terms of bias and propaganda.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
we can see this in modern times where you
Oh,
have, multiple sources and things, are being verified and checked and all this, and still there's this massive distortion. So
yes.
imagine when, you the only historian really, and it's only you that's writing it. Yeah, come on, it's so yes, okay, modern day historians go back in time and they do cross verify and this and that, but even so,
I
uh,
love that phrase. Today, like a meme I read somewhere, they said, "Oh, hunters will be glorified till the lion start writing this
yes,
story."
exactly, 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 yeah.
Like
So
in
I'm just very
Pakistan.
careful of this,
Uh-huh.
and
Yes, yes.
yeah,
In Pakistan, every on every occasion, army and everyone like they just try oh praises and songs about army did that, and all that nonsense. And
yeah,
when you see on YouTube videos what our Pakistan army was doing with Bengalis, I really
yeah.
feel ashamed of with
Oh,
them.
could be,
How can I even see them? Like, come on,
yeah, could be,
it's
good
a
point.
horror, horror.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
should feel ashamed of themselves what they were doing with them,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, what to do.
yeah.
So, but in Pakistan, tell my parents it because it was very limited resources of communication. And like, can you imagine that there was an army dictator here, and people were on the street and like protesting and doing all sort of stuff, and nobody likes, like, actually they were calling him on the street like he's a dog. A dog, you know that it's a very derogatory term
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
But the establishment was printing just one newspaper, especially for him, and in that he was a hero. And he was not aware that what was going on in this on the street. And when he came on TV, national TV, and or in a press conference, or like, not a press conference, press briefing, when you cannot actually question anything, uh, he was like, oh, I'm so happy, my people loves me and all that. And people were like, really, what's going on here? Where is actually, is he living in utopia or somewhere?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he was not able to get access to all to the real information. People around him manipulate him, like, just by printing one single copy. That's it.
It's
And
amazing. It's amazing.
they manipulate him to
Right,
make any all decisions and everything
right, right,
against
right,
Pakistan. So
right. Now, I mean, look at Thomas. You
mhm.
know, in history, let's say, Thomas. We don't have this where you've got where you can search the internet, you can do aggregate studies, etc., etc. If back in the day you had a situation like we have now, and very few people were writing stuff, Thomas takes it on himself to be the historian, and he writes all about what's going on in today's, in his world. We get this completely biased, distorted perspective of what's going on. you know and then not everything survives, and the Trump of that time wipes out and suppresses any um, thing that's written about him that's negative, and the only thing that survives is this wonderful positive stuff. So
Sorry,
it's scary.
sorry, I'm laughing because you know that
Oh,
sometimes when people get irritated, what nonsense they do. Me,
yeah,
I'm so irritated with the new Facebook thing, and they are just keep doing that and saying, okay, now it's only for 48 hours. You can go
yeah,
back, and then you have to again
yeah,
come back to the new one.
yeah,
And when I said, okay, switch over, they asked for questions. Okay, why you are leaving? Is there any feature missing or something? I was writing about that, but
yeah. Me too.
okay,
Every
okay,
time I say what I miss and
but
why I don't like it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was doing and doing and
Oh, good.
doing, but yesterday it was not even 48 hours. It was just 10 or 15 hours, I guess. And
Yeah,
they changed it to switch over to force me to switch over to new one.
yeah.
And then I switch it back, and they asked me. I said, "It's pathetic. Leave it alone."
Oh, good Beena. Good Beena. Good Beena.
I have no other reason. It's pathetic. I don't like it. Please leave it
Yeah,
alone.
yeah. It's come on,
Give me an option. Give me
Right.
an option to choose
Exactly.
what I like.
Exactly. 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 I mean,
But see,
okay, they might say, but you didn't have the option in the first place. You would say,
but
okay, but
now
at
I
least
like
you
it.
got it
Now
right.
I'm choosing.
Right. But at least you got it right the first time. If you had started with us, we would never have joined Facebook.
Yeah. Uh, but they were forcing me to choose that. And I was like, it is pathetic. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's too funny. It's too funny, this logic of theirs.
Like, I was really irritated by that. And I simply said, come on, it's pathetic. I don't like it. Leave it alone. I was, every single time I was giving them all sort of explanation that why I don't like it. It's not comfortable and all these things, like, okay, what I don't like about this. But now I am, it is on my nerves now. I'm saying that, okay,
Yeah.
it's pathetic. I don't like it. Leave it alone.
Good, Beena. Good, good, good. Beena being
I was so
adamant. Beena
irritated
being
by that.
adamant. Yes. Very good, Beena. Very good. Very good.
I was like,
Oh, they need to hear
some,
it. They need to
yes,
hear it.
sometimes like, it's enough is enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to.
yeah.
So I was irritated by that. So I said, come on, it's pathetic.
Yeah, it's just not fun to use. It's just,
Yes, exactly.
yeah. And it's such a simple thing to add the blue line on the top. I think that'll make all the difference. Why take that away? It's not gonna make your thing any slower,
पर्दा पूरा डाल दीजिएगा, वो लोग पर्दा डाल रहे हैं ना, पर्दा डाल दीजिएगा और उनसे शरबत कह दीजिएगा. Okay. Sorry, Mama. I came with guests so
Oh,
now.
well, the guest
Here,
coming.
greet each other. Oh yes. May I ask you something? We are not playing hide and seek anymore. Why did you move into the major's cabin?
Mm,
So what we would not be so far from each other. When we were only talking by letter, I knew the old cabin would be empty. So you just moved in? That's right, I moved in. Then maybe you can also explain how Hilde's father knew you were there. If I'm right, he knows practically everything. But I still can't understand at all how you get a mailman to deliver mail in the middle of the woods. Roberto smiled archly. Even things like that are pure bagatelle. 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 What is the word?
I don't know. I'll have to see. I can't figure it.
Bagatelle. Let me search.
No, I'll have to still see the word. I can't. A B
Bagatelle.
A G A.
Telle. Oh, a game in which small balls are hit then allowed to roll down on a stopping board. Okay, what is the pronunciation for
Screen
that?
share, please, Beena. I'm keen to see the word. It's funny. The spelling
Okay,
doesn't work for me,
the
but it's really
yes,
cute.
it is a name of a game, and the pronunciation is
Oh,
bagatelle.
oh,
Hmm.
yeah, Bagatelle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's a game that
Hmm.
you do what with?
No, he was saying
Yeah, yeah,
even things like that are a pure bagatelle for Hilde's
yeah,
father.
yeah.
Cheap, hocus pocus, simple, sleek, offhand. We are living under what is possibly the
Sleight of hand,
world's
sleight of hand, sleight of hand.
sleight. Okay, simple sleight of hand. We are living under what is possibly the world's closest surveillance. Wow. Oh, Sophie could feel herself getting angry. If I ever meet him, I'll search his eyes out. Sorry, I'll scratch his eyes out. Wow.
Wow.
Alberto walked over and sat down on the sofa. Sophie followed and sank into a deep armchair. Only philosophy can bring us closer to Hilde's father, Alberto said at last. Today I shall tell you about the Renaissance. Shoot! Not very long after St. Thomas Aquinas, cracks began to appear in the unifying culture of Christianity. Philosophy and science broke away uh, more and more from the theology of the church. Thus, sorry, I need to read it again. Philosophy and science broke away more and more from the theology of church, yes, thus enabling religious life to attain a freer relationship to reasoning. More people now emphasized that we cannot reach God through rationalism because God is in all ways unknowable. The important thing for a man was not to understand the divine mystery, but to submit to God's will.
Mm.
As religion and science could now relate more freely to each other, the way was open both to new scientific methods and new religious fervor.
Mm.
Fervor.
Fervor, yeah,
Fervor.
fervor, yeah.
Thus, the basis was created for two powerful upheavals in the 15th and 16th centuries, namely the Renaissance and the Reformation. Just a minute. Give me bando. Oh, masha. Oi, oi. Cutie.
Oh, let me see, let me see.
इसका चेहरा किसी से मिल रहा है ना? हाँ, चेहरा किसी से मिल रहा है ना? है ना? बहुत
Oh,
दिखाओ. है किसी की इसमें बहुत ज्यादा.
let me see too.
No, she's just showing, but she's showing me on her phone the
Oh,
picture of new baby girl.
well, you can put the phone in front of the camera and I can see.
It's her phone. Okay.
That's all right. That's all
Okay. As religion and science could now relate more freely to each other, the way was open, but both to new scientific methods and new religious fervor. Thus, the basis was created for two powerful upheavals in the 15th and 16th centuries, namely the Renaissance and Reformation. Can we take them one at a time? By the Renaissance, we mean the rich cultural development that began in the late 14th century.
right.
It
Mm-hmm.
started in northern Italy and spread rapidly northward during the 15th and 16th century. Don't you tell me that the word Renaissance meant rebirth? Didn't you tell me? I did indeed. And that which was to be reborn was the art and culture of antiquity. We also speak of Renaissance humanism, since now, after the long dark ages in which every aspect of life is seen through divine light, everything once again revolved around men. Go to the source was the motto, and that meant the humanism of antiquity first and foremost. After the long dark ages in which every aspect of life was seen through divine light, everything once again revolved around men. Hmm. hmm. Go to the source was the motto, and that meant the humanism of antiquity. Uh, hmm. Okay. It almost became a popular pastime to dig up ancient sculptures and scrolls. The
Hmm.
scrolls.
Scrolls. Yeah.
What is the word?
Scroll.
Scrolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just just as it became fashionable to learn Greek. The study of Greek humanism also had a pedagogical aim.
Yeah.
Pedagogical?
Pedagogical. Yeah.
What it means pedagogical?
A pedagogue is one
What
who's
it means
teaching, but
pedagogue?
in a very like you must do this, you must do that. Some pedagogy. Yeah.
Ah, like traditional teaching, this is what it is, yeah?
Yeah,
Pedagogical
exactly.
aim.
But right, exactly. But where at least the teacher's kind of in the classroom, but the pedagogue's kind of to everybody. But yes, traditional teaching is very much pedagogy. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
The study of Greek humanism also had a pedagogical aim. Reading humanistic subjects provided a classical education and developed what may be called human qualities. Horses are born, it was said, but human beings are not born, they are formed. Ah, haha, interesting. Do we have to be educated to be human beings? Yes, that was the thought. But before we take a closer look at the ideas of Renaissance humanism, we must say a little about the political and cultural background of the Renaissance.
Oh, see the cultural background of the Renaissance.
Yes.
Mm.
Alberto rose from the sofa and began to wander about the room. After a while he paused and pointed to an antique instrument on one of the shelves. "What is that?" he asked. "Looks like an old compass." "Quite right." He then pointed out to an ancient firearm hanging on the wall above the sofa. "And that?" "An old-fashioned rifle." "Exactly. And this?" Alberto pulled a large book off one of the bookshelves. "It's an old book. To be absolutely precise, it is an incunabulum.
Wow, I don't know what that is.
Incunabulum. You don't know?
Incunabulum. Wow. Sounds vaguely familiar, but
Mm.
some kind of calculation device.
And okay, okay, wait, wait. An incunabulum.
In Cunabulum.
Actually, it means cradle.
Cradle.
Actually, it means cradle. The word is used about books printed in the cradle days of painting,
Ah,
that is before 1500, 1500. Is it really that old? That old, yes. And these three discoveries, the compass, firearm, and the printing press, were essential preconditions for this new period we call the Renaissance.
right. Right.
Ah, the
Yeah.
compass, firearm, and the printing press.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Were essential preconditions for this new period we call the Renaissance.
Yeah. I
You'll
mean,
have to
the
explain
printing
that a bit
press
more
is
clearly.
kind of okay. You will now, but you can think of the printing press as being essentially like the internet. In the same kind of effect. Massive, massive change. Because before that time of the printing press, well, you'll probably explain. All right, well, never mind. Yeah, you
But
know,
this is very interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you keep going, keep going. 'Cause he's gonna elaborate on this. So very cool, very cool, very cool. Nice, nice, nice.
Compass made it easier to navigate in to navigate. In other words, it was the basis for the great voyages of
Mm.
discovery. So were firearms in a way. The new weapons gave the Europeans military superiority over American and
Ah,
Asiatic cultures.
one second,
Although,
one second, one
yes,
second. Just from our perspective, right? As globalists, as universalists, rather than localists. Okay, would we call those voyages
yes.
voyages of discovery, or would we call them something else? I mean, you and I know.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like if it was for discovery, why they need that firearms
Well,
and so that
never mind the
so that
firearms, but I mean, they didn't discover the things. The things were already there,
yes.
right? So it's voyages of connectivity, right?
Wow. Yes.
Voyages of discovery. I mean, America already existed. The people say, you didn't discover me. I was already here. You just coming to visit, right? From their perspective, they're not being discovered. It's kind of very one-sided only. Oh, you didn't know you in. Well,
Ah,
okay, now
ah,
you know. You
ah.
know, but you've now connected. You know what I mean? It's like when you go and visit a new neighbor, you don't discover them, you connect to them, right? It's just there's a yes, technically they are the people who are doing the voyages are discovering stuff that they didn't know, but still a discovery implies sort of an ownership and a one-sidedness to it. No, if you say voyages of connectivity, it changes the whole logic, right, of the deal. I mean, it's fantastic that they did do those voyages and made that connectivity, but looking at them as voyages of connectivity, okay, that's different. And of course, yes, it led to lots of greed and conquest and all sorts of idiotic things. But nonetheless, to just shift that perspective, I find it's very useful. Yeah, very useful. Yeah,
Yes, yes. The new weapons gave the European military superiority over American and Asiatic culture, although firearms were also an important factor in Europe. Printing played an important part in spreading the Renaissance humanists' new ideas. And the art of printing was not least one of the factors that forced the church to relinquish its former position as sole disseminator of
yeah.
knowledge.
Disseminator. Yeah. See, now this was a huge deal, the printing press, when it came to the church. Because before that time, everything had to be handwritten, right? And copied over. So the church, they employed monks, as it were, part of the deal, to do this. And it's not something that's within the means of anybody else, really, even governments. It's just an expense that they don't want to really go to. Yes, they would in necessary times, but the church could control. Um, the dissemination of the Bible, and they controlled what you read and what you didn't read. So this was a huge deal. But then when the printing press came out, you'll see how it goes now. It's a very big deal, very big deal. Yeah, yeah. And when we realize how much, the church is a mechanism of control, it's powerful. I mean, particularly now we are talking here about the Roman Catholic Church. That was the only real church, for 1,000 years, so more. So this is a very big deal, and it's not just the Catholic Church. People forget this. It's the Roman Catholic Church.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very important to keep in mind. That name never changed. Oh, we're gonna get to
Okay.
300. Yeah.
And the art of printing was not least one of the factors that forced the Church to relinquish its former position as sole disseminator of knowledge. New inventions and instruments began to follow, thick and fast. One important instrument, for example, was the telescope, which
Oh,
resulted in a completely new basis for astronomy. And finally came rockets and space probes.
no.
Now you
Now,
are going too far. Yeah.
sorry. So the telescope, it's such a simple thing. But you have to look at this, especially if you look at it from the perspective of PSP, and you see how dominant PSP is. Why did they throw Galileo in jail?
Mm-hmm.
Because he said that the Earth revolves around the sun. What's the problem with that, you might say? What's the big deal?
Yes, exactly.
Right, they said no. The Earth is the center of the universe. Everything revolves around us.
But how you know?
Uh, because we are special, we are ordained, we are the children of God, and it can only be this way. I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing the argument, but this is the point. It was a complete and utter point of importance. Isn't that astonishing? Yeah, really, really,
Yes.
really fascinating. Of course, they were forced to eventually relinquish this, but to not really, people want to say, oh, they want to poo-poo the kind of conspiracy theory of the church and control and all this. It's in their own admitted history. Yeah, I'm not going by my opinion. I'm going by what the church itself. This is they acknowledge it that they, at least some things they acknowledge that the church was wrong about. Never updated. It's astonishing. It's absolutely astonishing how so purely self-important ego superiority was the key. You know, and same thing with Darwin's theory. If Darwin had said we evolved from lions and eagles, everybody would have been quite fine. But monkeys, okay, he didn't say monkeys. He said apes and primates, which is very different. But even so, that image for people, a monkey's a stupid thing. They they couldn't handle it. Oh, a noble lion, we is descended from nine lions or eagles. Oh, this would have been okay, or wolves. But monkeys, no. That's why his theory wasn't popular. It's amazing.
Oh,
Or
okay.
got so much.
And
Even today, it gets a lot of resistance from the Trumpers. And the people who are anti climate change, who say, oh, it's global warming's a
mm,
hoax and all this. They're anti
mhm,
science. Why? At the root of it is this absolute real irritation with the theory of evolution.
mm.
That's why they so
Okay.
insist that the world is 6,000 years old or whatever. You know,
Uh,
it's fascinating, isn't
this
it?
remind me of yes, exactly. This remind me of the concept I read in Quran. Because if we just go till Darwin's theory is not completely wrong according to Islam. Yeah, because first thing,
Wow,
yes, that
wow.
the first,
Now that's
if we
really
go,
interesting.
yes, if we just go to uh, till Adam, then it doesn't make any sense that, oh, he was a human being, so how we can. But we are just counting from the Adam. So Adam was the first, uh, how to say that the word proper, I don't like that. Or maybe the first prototype? No, no.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, Yeah.
This formation of human
You're right.
form,
The
okay, this
modern,
particular form of
yeah,
human being,
yeah, the
yes,
modern
he was the
modern one.
first prototype of that. But before that, as I said earlier yesterday, that okay, there is a concept in that the humans were in a different kind of understanding with completely no awareness and all these things. It's a different, not completely, but it's a different kind of awareness, if you can say that, because we don't have, and they were not able to grasp any new idea, any change at all, any kind of idea. That's the problem with them. And these people are not like Adam. So it means that because they were existing before Adam, so they might be like apes.
Mm,
Exactly. So it is not in contradiction for me
yeah,
that Darwin's theory has some sort of okay value in that.
validity. Yeah.
I cannot completely say that, oh yes, it is like that, because I want to read more about that. But for me, it has a validity in that. And also,
Interesting.
again, the second thing that, oh, human were in a some in history. I never read anything because I never read in history, but it never encounters in any Islamic book that that who was the people. But it's a verse in Quran which says that there were some people, group of people on this planet Earth who was somehow get punished by God, and they, because of their own acts, it's where the punished word I cannot exactly say. Maybe they were like hybrid or something. They became, and they were monkeys and pigs, hybrid of monkeys with human and pigs with human. So
Wow.
some people were like that, and it's a group of people exist on this planet Earth. Of course, it is about the older time. So they were hybrid people, human, not entirely human, not entirely animal. So they were hybrid. But this Darwin's theory, again, it makes sense if by chance he was getting, if this theory is true, and he was getting some understanding from that point of view, again, it makes sense. But if I look at it logically, we are closest to, and our gestures, body language, and other understandings are more like. So, what's the problem in that? We are civilized, okay? We grow, we learn. So, for me, Darwin's theory is not wrong, and I see some sort of, because I cannot read it in Arabic, so I'm not sure what Quran is actually saying.
Wow.
Translation is a different thing, but
Wow.
I saw that it is mentioned in Quran. So for me, it is not against uh, their Islamic understanding. Okay, it is interesting.
Very, very interesting. Very
I
interesting.
don't know. I don't know
You know,
why people don't
the
see
key
that
with,
or miss
right?
that. Yes.
Yeah. You know, the theory of evolution, however
Mhm.
Darwin is saying it works, fine. But if you don't understand this concept of evolution itself in whatever ways and forms it comes about, then you are saying, well, everything is just static and we can't learn. Is it?
Ah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and here's the point now. So then we would be like the angels, or just stay the same and don't ever, grow and move. Yeah.
Even just now, if I was when I was at my cousin's get together, Mama Reem's dad, and we were there. So my auntie was sharing old pictures, and I was looking at everyone. The first common thing was they were all super slim. Okay, they were not poor. They had, and of course, they were living a good life. They had cars, like my in my father's side. They owned their houses and they had servants also. So it was not that they were lacking in any sort of thing, not malnourished people, but they all were quite slim. Like I can see the collarbones, I can see the sharp jawlines, everything. So that this was really interesting for me, that how our food choices are making us fat. They were not. And it was not only limited to my family. I saw the friends and neighbors and everyone. There were a lot of people in that. All were slims. So this thing is about in 70s and 60s. and they all were slim, and gradually we start getting. Second thing was they had a common, uh, something common in their, similar in their features. Not only it was not limited to family, something was familiar, common in everyone. If we just look at our picture just 2 3 decades and we are observing, we can feel the change. Okay, it is very subtle, of course. So how can we completely deny that we are not growing? Hmm? And we are not in the process of evolution.
Oh,
It is really strange. See how older people had so much hair on their heads. They used to have, everybody. It was a common thing. Had huge hair. But now it is decreasing. You don't need that. Okay, maybe that's this thing.
oh.
So,
I don't know,
I don't know
Beena.
how.
Can't say on the
I
hair.
feel that, no, I'm just saying that how people are just completely ignoring everything and saying no, absolutely no. I cannot say absolutely no or yes for anything.
Yeah.
No. So it is interesting that Darwin's theory is not actually contradictory to some religious understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about Christianity and Hinduism. Hindus also have their god, like Hanuman. Okay, it makes
Yeah.
sense. They had this
Well, they have
idea.
a lot of gods.
No, but
Oh, the god
especially
Hanuman
the,
being the half monkey, the monkey god. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. So they have some sort
It's
of
kind of a
concept of
cool
that.
character in general, Hanuman. It's
Mhm.
pretty
Mhm.
awesome.
Oh
A
yes,
lot of
and
nice stories about him.
interesting stories, really
Oh,
interesting.
in those links, by the way, that I sent to Benny, that in the books, not the links, the files, actually,
Yes.
there's that Buddhist scriptures that I was telling Benny about, or you about, or somebody about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in that. That's maybe one we can look at some point.
Mm.
I found it and I was able to download it. So, yeah.
Very interesting. We will read at some point. I want to
Also,
read
yeah,
Gita and
yeah, it's in there too. The
Bible.
Gita's in there. Yeah,
Yeah, and Bible,
yeah,
or maybe
uh,
some try to Zabur and Torah also.
yeah, yeah. The what also?
Zabur and Torah.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's tiresome reading, but yeah. Well, Sabur is in the Bible, so and
Okay.
Old Testament's very similar to the Torah. Not all that much different. So I mean, it's more worthwhile to read the Old Testament because it's got most of the Torah in it, includes the Zabur, and well, the Torah is not that relevant really in today's world. It doesn't make that much
Mm-hmm.
of a difference, whereas the Bible does. So, okay, more the New Testament than the Old Testament, but you'd be surprised how much stuff in the Old Testament has an effect on people, and also how much they ignore. So that's very hypocritical. Anyway,
Exactly.
yeah. Um, by the way, well,
Like,
one thing that
see, I'm reading this book, and you
yeah,
are reading this book.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
No, no, I just wanted to say in the Old Testament, it says about Adam and Eve that they were made in God's image. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
might need to correct that. Maybe it's just Adam who was made in God's image, and then Eve was made from Adam's rib. I'm not sure if they were
Mm-hmm.
both made in. I think it's just Adam now that I think of it. And this is where this concept of he comes from. And I'm assuming that's not
Ah.
story. I in the Quran, I suspect that part's not in there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, as far as I remember,
Maybe interesting to check.
of course. It's been very long now that I have read that Quran because I was reading it by myself. I was not asking anyone to to do that. There are so many schools here, madrasas, and women go there and they do. I don't know. I have my own understanding. So I was reading it as I'm reading this Sophie now. Okay, but it's different because you are explaining a lot of things to me. But for Quran, no one was there. I was choosing and I was thinking and try to think and understand and make sense out of it. Of course, it was a deliberate effort that I was trying to make sense. How it makes sense. Again, it's a receptivity
Yeah.
concept. Same is with Sufi. Okay, if the Alberto is saying something, my mind is okay. How it makes sense. Sorry, I was not doing that for you. In few times, I didn't do that, and I said, okay, I'm not the only one who need to do that. How it makes sense. I always do so, but I'm not choosing to do anymore. So this is what I did, and it creates a problem. It creates a big problem within us, like between us. So
Interesting, Beena. Interesting.
yeah, it happened. You saw that. We both actually experienced that. When I said that, okay, I don't want to assume that it makes sense. I'm not trying to make sense out of it, which it does. Okay, yes, makes sense.
Mm,
I'm not saying it was right or wrong.
yeah, that's it.
It does
We
make
don't care
sense.
about right or wrong. We care about things making
It
sense.
does make sense, but I simply choose
What does
not
make sense?
to.
I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
When we what we were discussing and we had a huge argument about that,
Oh,
okay, how the spelling and everything. But I simply, whenever I simply choose to not
oh.
assume or not
We had a
insist on, oh yes,
disagreement,
it makes
Beena. I don't
sense.
know if it was a huge argument. My brain, I don't remember it that way. Okay, maybe I'm
It is,
choosing to remember things that way, but I do choose to remember things that way rather than say
but,
huge
but
argument.
it is somehow on a longer run, it is shifting our perspective of our relationship. It is
Yeah.
shifting.
But I'm
So
saying
I'm
is to me,
observing
it's
that.
just it's a minor disagreement. That's it. Yeah. That's how I train my brain, Beena. It's very easy.
Disagreement is not a problem, but I was observing what are the consequences if you simply ignore that. It does make sense in a relationship, in any kind of relationship. This is the key for me. Whatever the person is saying, that just go with the perspective that it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense to you, but it makes sense to him or her. Yes, then things can work. Otherwise, I saw that. I was experiencing that. It doesn't work well. Not in a beautiful way, at least. But I
So
was irritated by that. That why I have to do that all the time. I was irritated by that. Sorry.
that you have to do one, Beena.
Like I have to assume that, oh, it makes sense.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why I have to do that all the time?
I don't know. Why? Why do you have to
I
do that?
Yes, that was the thing, and I said, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. No,
Why? Are you still holding to that, or was it just then? I'm confused now.
I might practice it again. Someday I will say, okay, I don't want to
Wow, Beena.
be stick to that perspective.
Wow. Why would you not want it to make sense?
Why don't you make take this perspective? Oh, it does it does make sense. Be nice saying, hmm? Why
I,
not you?
I am. That's why I'm asking. Why not?
You were you were not doing that at that time. See?
I guess so. Although it doesn't make sense to me that one doesn't want to make things that make sense. So
No, but if I choose that, okay, I'm not practicing this anymore. Why don't you choose that? Oh, okay, Pina, whatever you're saying, it does make sense. Not to me, but to you. But you didn't choose that, and you were observing that. I'm not
okay,
choosing
fair
that.
enough. But I mean, it's a peculiar thing to say. Okay, it makes sense to me that you're gonna choose to not have things make sense to you. See what I mean? It's kind of like head muddling a bit. But
No, 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 not head muddling.
well,
Okay.
for me it is.
See,
It's very head
yeah,
muddling
okay.
for me.
See, no, 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 listen. If and just take that example in that discussion, I was not choosing. I was not practicing my it does make sense perspective. I was not practicing. I choose that I will not practice that. Okay. Why didn't you choose that? Whatever Bina is saying, it does make sense. Why didn't you choose?
No, because it didn't make sense.
See,
I understand what you're saying. What is,
see.
and I will make an effort to say, okay, Beena, that
Mhm.
if you choose irrationality, uh, I cannot say it makes sense to me, but I have to say it makes sense to you. See?
Exactly, this is what I'm saying.
Right, right.
I
But,
mostly.
but, but, I will qualify that to say, Beena, that doesn't mean I am going to give up my prerogative to try and convince you or make you aware that that what is making sense to you is irrational.
No, but it
Okay,
is. It could be anything. No, it could be anything, sir.
yeah, but that's my point,
It is.
Beena.
It is.
Uh,
It is
it,
liberating. It is
yes,
liberating,
it is, but
but also it is a responsibility.
right, right,
It
and I
is
do,
also a responsibility.
yeah, and I do that in an inadvertent way, because I'm continuing in the conversation with you. If and to me, I'm emphasizing communication, communication, communication. So I do understand that in some way your choices are making sense to you, but in the overall, we've got to persist and keep going until we can see, past our localness of things and see it in the bigger context, and to continue to resolve things where we can really fully understand how it is that somebody's coming. There is a point, Bina, that we can come to where I can say, uh, you know, I hear you, Bina. I feel you, and yeah, it is personally I don't believe this, and you believe this. We have a different choice of beliefs, and I understand why you choose this because of your predilections, your choices, your preferences, and that's fine. And that
No,
is
sir.
the
So,
point to leave things on. That's not a problem, Dean. That's really not a
so,
problem
so
for me. That's
listen, listen,
celebration of
listen,
difference. See? So that's what
listen,
I'm saying. That's
listen.
celebration of difference.
Again. Listen. The problem is that you were assuming that it is my belief. I was
No,
not saying that. That okay, oh, because I'm Muslim and
no, 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 no,
I
no,
am
no, no,
better.
no, no,
See,
no, no, no. I didn't mean religious belief,
see,
Dina. I,
yeah.
I, I didn't mean
Or
religious.
any, or even okay, I belong to Asia or I'm Pakistani
No,
and
no,
whatever.
no, no,
Just
no,
leave
no,
it aside.
no, no, no,
The
no,
pro.
no, 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 Bina. No, 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 no. None of that is included in what I'm saying now. And I wasn't even speaking about you personally. I'm speaking about anybody. And I said
Okay,
based on my predilections and my
but
personal
still,
preferences. This
but
has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with
still,
cultural or religious stuff, Bina.
but still,
I don't mean it
listen.
in that sense.
I
I
know,
really don't.
but
So no,
still,
but
again,
you're saying it as if that's what I meant, and that's not
still,
what I
listen. You are using the word belief again. The problem
meant.
is
Right.
that this was my understanding at that time. Okay, and listen again.
Exactly.
That's why I said that. Okay, I'm still on that because you were educating everyone on behalf of everyone. Okay, but you are observing. You do observe that what is happening in this world. How minor, tiny, little mundane things create whole lot of confusion, and people they do have this. Okay, they keep grudges on that or that or how from where this white supremacy concept came. Where is the fried chicken and watermelon become a stereotype for black people? It is not a big thing, but it becomes a big thing.
American black people.
Listen, this is what I was saying that sometimes just tiny little things. When you handle a nuclear bomb, you cannot play with it. Oh, I just forgot. No, you cannot forget this. This is the time that you need to pay attention. You cannot be ignorant or arrogant or anything. Oh, I know everything. So this was my point, and I was saying that it's a point of arrogance, and you said that oh you are generalizing it. You were right on that because my statement was the way I was saying that it was like oh everyone is doing that. Yes, I admit that it was like that, but also you were wrong in that thing itself when you were saying that oh Beena, no, I can say that no one. How can you say anything with so absoluteness on behalf of other people, like thousands of people, millions of people?
I
You
said what?
cannot
I said
say.
what?
You, oh, you were saying that, no, Beena. I can say that it was not an arrogance. It was not. No, no, no. No one was doing that. I was saying that. How can you be so absolute? I
I
was wrong in a way when I was saying that oh, people are doing that. Yes, it cannot be generalized. There are exemptions in
Bina,
that.
I don't think I was saying no
Yeah,
one, Bina. I,
you
I,
were saying that that was a
no,
problem. it becomes a point of irritation for me that how
Yes,
can you
I
say like
understand,
this?
Beena, but I want
Uh,
to make a point here that,
yes.
you heard many things that I said and you generalized it. And I kept telling you, don't be generalizing what I'm saying, Beena.
Still you were saying that.
You misheard me.
Oh no.
Beena, I don't speak in absolutes. I almost never
You
ever
were
speak.
speaking. That was really interesting for me.
It's my point, Beena. That's what I'm trying to say now. I you know, I remember at the time you were hearing stuff, and in your mind you were taking it as if this, and I kept telling you, no, Bina, I'm not making it into a general statement. So I'm very careful with that, with general statements, Bina. So, all right, whatever that came about, I don't remember the specifics here, but I will say that in general, Bina, I absolutely don't generalize. I'm very, very, very cautious on that. So there might be some special case to it, exception. But yeah, no, I agree with you. If I said that, then that's not good at all. But again, I'm just a bit careful to say it uh, because it's just something that goes against my grain. I'm innately a little bit hardwired against absolutes. I'm very cautious of them because they cause trouble. Cause trouble. So, so anyway, if that's what you heard and if that's what I said, absolutely, it's not right. Absolutely agree with you. Just saying, Um, but yeah, it's just absolutes. Want to stay away from absolutes.
And okay, this was the thing when I and Alan were also communicating, and he said that oh, well, I know that this is sensitive for you, and I said, come on, because I'm a girl, because I'm younger than you, because okay, I have no experience. You are making a statement about me that I'm sensitive because I am a Muslim. Come on,
Yeah, yeah,
from where this thing come? Because it
yeah,
means that you are actually trying to tell me that my point of view or my perspective on that subject, specific subject, has no value. Simple as that. By implication, it means that when you are saying that I'm sensitive about it,
yeah.
based on
Oh,
what?
that's not cool,
Based
man.
on what?
Thompson, I
Based
agree.
on what?
Exactly.
It was simply understanding. Okay, if I say that, oh no, Muslims are angels, then you can say that, Beena, you're absolutely nonsense now. You're saying nonsense. You don't know anything. You can say that. Absolutely. If you say that, oh, if I say that, oh, Quran is the most ultimate right thing in this world, then you will say, Beena, okay, now you are just going over the board and you have no evidence for that. You don't have any understanding for that. I never said that. When? But Alan said that to me. And this thing
He
again,
said.
I
He
was
said. He
laughing at.
said what? He said he
He
thinks you
said,
think
"Oh,
that
oh,
the
I know.
Quran is the
Oh, I
most.
know that." No, no. He said that. Oh, Beena, I know. He was talking about Muslim something, and he is very much into Arab culture and all these things. But still, he said, "Oh, I know that it's sensitive for you." I said, from which sentence, from which idea, from which word you got this understanding? Just tell me that. Because it is a way to actually subside or diminish my perspective on that. This is really an arrogant thing and a vehement thing to say that, oh, you're sensitive. But okay, if I'm sensitive, what I'm doing wrong? You're not debating, you're not discussing the perspective, but you're just saying, oh, it is sensitive for you. Come on.
Yeah, interesting.
What is this? It means that you are making a statement that, oh, because this is sensitive, so I'm biased, and my opinion, my perspective has no value in it. It is really very obvious for me, which is really irritating.
Yeah, I try not to presume like that, Bina. I really do. I try not.
So that was the thing, and then Alan was like, Beena, how dare you say that? I said, yes, this is what you are doing. Sorry, I can be the
It's
most polite one,
presumptuous. It's
but
presumption.
yeah, but when I'm putting something by effort, I'm not connecting to anything. You know that I was telling Alan said, Alan, you might be killed more than dozen times. The things you are saying in front of me in any Arab culture, no matter Arab or Muslims or not, you might be killed so many times.
What did he say
And he was,
to
he, yeah, and he says, what? I said, yes, this is what you are saying. But I understand that. Okay, yes, this is your point of view. I have no connection to that, no connectivity to that. So this is your point of view, and you are sharing. But if you would be in an Arab culture, and he said, and later he said, Beena, you were right, and because it's like, how you are just connecting me to that idea. Oh, this is sensitive to you. Then I will tell you what is sensitive to me, really,
him? Interesting,
and
Bina.
how sensitive it is for me.
So what about me? Will I be killed too, Bina? Or not will be? I mean, could I have been?
I mean, but, people are said really seriously. My mother was like continuously. Okay, I tell you something. I was in the dream and I saw something. When I woke up with saying out loud like Allah, Allah. I was saying that, and I don't know what I was actually watching at that time. I don't remember now. And Mama was in my room. It was about a prayer time, about or maybe after that. Anyway, so I was, and Mama was saying that, thank God you were saying Allah. And I said, what? She says, oh, I was worried about you.
Oh, wow.
See how things are. So,
Wait,
uh,
worried about you in what way? I don't
in my
understand.
religious understanding and
Oh,
beliefs
oh, oh,
and
oh. When
faiths.
was this, Bina? When was this?
Uh, month or maybe 2 months now.
Oh, wow. She thinks
I,
that you might be getting corrupted by me.
by all of my friends.
Mama, you have no
So
idea of just how stubborn your daughter is. I mean, how independent-minded your daughter
so she was saying that, and I was smiling like, okay, what can I say about it for this? So I said, okay, yeah. But she was really serious about that when she was saying, oh, I was worried about you.
is. So I want you to come live here in America, Bina. And,
Uh,
truly, it's a different world, really. I mean, it literally is a different world. All right, there's a lot of nonsense. But, okay, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, any of these places, it's a whole different ball game. You know? Yeah.
and I was when I was telling Ellen, now he said that, Beena, don't say anything. They will make your job sway. They will make your job sway. And I was like, okay, come on. Now you are scared of. While you were saying all sort of things, and we laughed like, okay, yes, whatever his perspective. I give Quran the same respect I give to any other book, valuable book for me. I give the same respect. I want to understand. I want to explore. That's it.
And also, uh, appropriateness, right? Wave
Oh yes,
impeccability, appropriateness. So, in that context, you do find yourself in a cultural milieu, and you do need to respect the, that context.
hmm.
To
Hmm.
not do so is not only foolhardy but dangerous. So now, one doesn't want to also be in a situation where you are part and parcel of perpetuating something which is biased or distorted, but you have to do so strategically. You know,
Hmm.
you have to pick your battles. You have to decide how much you're going to push the edge, because that's what you're continually doing, right? You're pushing the edge, right? Of
Hmm.
shifting this culture from its nonsense. And slowly but surely, it takes time, and it is moving, it is shifting as they catch up a little bit in the world. So I mean, look, you don't have you can go outside and you don't have to wear a veil, right, or a burqa. So
I don't. I don't. Never.
right, I'm just saying though. But you can get away with it here, whereas in some other parts, you might not be able to get away with it. And you can drive a car, which you couldn't do in Saudi. At least they're changing that law now. So, so I'm just saying, they are you do make a stand on some things, but you got to choose where you make a stand. So you want to keep pushing the boundaries of where in order for the changes to happen that are sensible, but you've got to be careful to not push too far. Yeah,
Yes,
you got to
this is
allow
how
the
things are.
knuckleheads to catch up, as it were. You know, be
Mm,
sensitive. I mean, it's the thing
it-
is, this culture. It is basically a culture that comes from that um, superfluous male culture.
yes, yes, big time.
They know they're superfluous and they're aware of it. And now to give up my power, and I'm in some way special and more and all of this stuff. Well, if I give that up, then I'm just going to be superfluous. No, dude, you're not going to be superfluous. You can still serve lots of value and all this. Just be an individual for crikey's sake. We're evolving into a different culture and different society. Yeah.
So it's a big time thing, and also because this. Okay, the interesting part in my culture, in subcontinent, there is an understanding that if you need to be like make it bold, underline, flashing stars on that if other than Allah, someone was allowed to be bowed to or touch the feet or ground in front of him, would be the husband. See, and
Yeah. Say
they
say
call
this
it
again. Say the first part. I missed the first part of what you said.
like if it was allowed to praise or worship someone
All right.
other than Allah would be your husband.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
exactly, exactly.
okay, and
Like,
and
come
the word
on,
is
man, really.
so like see and the other word was virtual Allah. Hmm?
Oh,
Okay.
so the
Oh,
husband
and
becomes the stand-in
oh
for the
yes,
for the
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I was thinking about that, how it could be. For me, it is all nonsense. Like
yeah,
why? Okay.
yeah.
But and I never read any word like this in Quran.
Wow. So who
But
says this now? Is this something that?
see. Okay, now I was like thinking about that. Okay, from where it. So it is just my understanding. I never did any research on that. Nothing, because we were living with Hindus for at least for 1200 years. Muslims were living here. First thousand was ruling, and then with East
Well,
India, and then
Pakistani
so yeah.
Muslims, not all Muslims. Yeah.
So these Muslims, subcontinent thing,
Mm,
yeah, they were living with Hindus, and Hindu ideology is Pati Parameshwar. They actually said that your husband is your God, not a virtual God. It
yeah,
is like
actually.
Pati Parameshwar. Parameshwar means that God. So they have this understanding in their religion.
Mm,
So Muslims were so inspired,
yeah,
and they create that if something was allowed to, oh, that would be this.
yeah.
By implication, it means that you have to actually consider him as your God,
God's body.
no matter what if and
Ugh,
nonsense and all these things.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, and it this is a thing. Oh, you
yeah,
need to see it.
yeah, yeah.
And it is never not in my religion. If I just consider my religion, okay, it is not in my religion. It is not in my brought up. I never saw this thing. The third thing, as a human being, if even it was in my religion or in my culture or in anything, I would not consider. I will not consider anyone, virtually, not virtually, reality, nothing like that. No,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I cannot.
No, exactly. Furthermore, Beena, somebody asked about thinking things through. They weren't quite sure about thinking things through, what exactly it meant, etc. And say, okay, you want to know a bit more about thinking things through? Take the concept of worship. Just think it through. What exactly is worship?
This is basically against my basic ideology of living.
Right, exactly. I mean, worship is just to praise somebody and say they are wonderful and fantastic to basically boost their ego. This is it. What on earth do you need to do this for? Now, you tell me which self respecting God would need or want to be worshipped, right?
The first thing, worship
It's an
is a
absurd concept for a God to have.
ex-
You would imagine
exactly
your
the
God
first
has
thing.
no ego and would absolutely have no need to
And
be worshipped.
it is absolutely against the monotheism, which is the base of Islam. Okay, so how you guys are actually following that? See, yeah,
Not
the
sure.
the, 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 the people who are practicing this religion religiously, like okay, the way it is. How can you? Because the whole concept was there is only one divine force. Hmm? How can
Yeah,
you
but
consider
I'm not
any?
sure why it makes a difference in monotheism specifically. I'm lost a bit there.
I'm not getting your thing now. But why am I using it? Let me.
Oh, hang on, hang on, hang on.
What are you doing?
I was outside emptying water. So you're saying that this concept of worship goes against monotheism?
No, 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 no. The concept of husbands being virtual God.
Oh, that does, yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, like you just say things and adopt things which are totally contradictory to
Yeah.
your other belief.
Oh
So
yeah. Well,
at
see,
least just follow
yeah,
one thing.
yeah. See, I got confused because we started talking about worship, and
Yeah.
then so the subject was worship, and
Uh,
that's why you
okay,
see I
and
was
and the
confused.
worship
Yeah.
and
Well,
the
the
worship
worship
part.
of the husband, yes, as a god, you can't do that because that goes against the monotheism. Yes, in Hinduism, okay, because they've got a god for
Yes.
everything, and their
Yes.
concept of a god is, I suspect, somewhat different to the monotheistic concept.
Oh,
Um,
it is different.
yeah, it's very different. So,
It
so
is kind of
God is
polytheism.
anything. Yeah, but again, they have like, a god for everything. Every little tiny thing, you make a god out of it. It's like kind of an appreciation culture, really. It's kind of
this, this
interesting.
this is the problem. Okay, if you are just appreciating things, which is the most valuable thing. Okay, one of the most valuable gesture of humans that they
Right.
do, they can appreciate. But appreciation is a different thing. Worshipping is a different thing.
Yeah.
Even in the monotheism, and Muslims believe that
Yeah.
there is only one
Yeah.
God, from where this worship concept start coming in. Okay, and they say that your prayers are meditation. Okay, kind of. Okay,
Yeah.
if it is a meditation, and you are, and the whole concept in what I read is you are talking to Allah. Okay, it is a kind of a multi-purpose thing. You are doing meditation also, and you are talking to Allah. So where did this worship thing come?
Yeah.
Okay, this touching your forehead to the ground. This says that okay, it is to neutralize your energy, your okay, you do that. You earth down your energy and okay, negative thoughts. Okay, it makes sense.
Well, it's endemic in the greeting. Praise Allah.
Hmm.
So
Again, so what you are doing is for your own benefit. So again, where is the worship thing? There are a lot of things which are need to be addressed and thinking it
yeah.
through to the end
Well, yeah.
because
I
they
mean, but
have contradiction in
in
that.
the Bible, worship is very much a big deal. It's very, um, it's deliberately advocated. So
Hmm. No,
yeah.
it is in Islam also. This is what I'm
Yeah, I know.
asking.
I agree. I agree with you, Beena. It's very nuanced, but be careful.
Hmm.
Be
Hmm.
careful of that opinion. It might go against the grain of people. Yeah, but because this is, technically, Beena, this is what defines a religion. Uh, if there's no worship involved, it's not a religion. It's fascinating.
Like things you cannot describe about any philosopher, then
Right,
it is
right.
religion. Yeah. Okay.
No,
You
I mean,
believe in his philosophy,
right. Yeah,
but
but I'm
he
saying is
also has some
if you
sort of miraculous things. So okay,
right,
this become a
well,
religion. Otherwise,
well,
without
no, not
miracle, it's a religion.
necessarily. Not necessarily the miracle. The worship is what defines it as a religion, not necessarily the miracle. I mean, you could like say people could worship and pray to Plato and become a religion. That's what happened with Buddhism. You know, it was a
Mm.
philosophy when it started, and then they started praying to Buddha, which goes a completely. I don't know how they managed this. It goes completely against everything that he ever preached, that he, well, at least advocated. Not that he really preached stuff that he shared. You know, how you conform and to do this, I have no idea. But anyway, so they do it, and it's a religion. So yeah, it's not about miracles necessarily. It's just
Oh, oh, yes, yes.
praying to
Worship.
somebody, worship. Now, praying is not only worship, right? Uh, but this is part of when they use the term worship. Yes, you are saying you're wonderful, you're fantastic, but also it's part of it is to ask for favors, which is part of prayer as well. Now,
Ah, ah.
in your conception, part of prayer is sharing your thoughts, bearing your soul, and things like that, which is a fantastic thing, to do. Like I said, a meditation. But typically, people think of prayer. Prayer is two
Yes,
things:
yes,
you're
yes.
telling God how wonderful He is, or she is, it is, and secondly, you ask for favors. That's what
Yes,
prayer is.
exactly, exactly. Yes, yeah, yes, you're right.
Yeah, where it's
Okay. Yes, it makes sense.
if it's a discussion with God, that's that's a different thing, and that's not typically prayer. To say, listen, God, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I'm working, and you're just sharing there. You're not really expecting an answer. You're just unburdening your soul, like a kind of a confession, and this is one part of the confessional thing that does have some value, that people do get some perspective and context on what they're doing,
So they were
bearing their
smart.
soul. So yeah.
Oh, they were smart because like Muslims were smart in that sense that they said, okay, if you really want to confess, do it in private with Allah. Don't make any witness of it.
Right. Oh, it's a part of it's actually specifically said in the Quran.
No, no, I'm just saying that.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Don't create any witness of it.
Witnesses. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Well, but the priests are forbidden to share what's in the confessional.
But they are forbidden. But okay, they are forbidden for so many other things also.
Yeah.
But see what is happening in Vatican. So okay,
Right.
it's a different thing.
I know it, but that thing with the confessional, it's a big
The idea
problem.
was that.
And that even if somebody confesses I'm going to do harm, you can't go and prevent that. This to me, and as far as I understand it, regardless of what it is, it's actually legal. To if you hear of some like in I know in psychiatrists, yes, you have client psychiatrist privilege, but if they confess they are going to do somebody harm, you are obligated to notify the authorities. So I suspect this actually legally applies to the priests as well, at least in
It needs
America.
to be. It needs to be. Yeah.
Correct. It needs to be correct. Correct. I mean, you
Like
can't
if
you
someone
can't
is going
use
to
that.
commit suicide,
Yeah.
yeah, how can you just let him or her do this?
Well, suicide is different. To me, that's their own choice. But if that's them
Oh
doing to
yeah.
harm themselves. But if they confess they're going to murder somebody, oh hell no, you got to do something. So yeah, yeah,
It's a very difficult thing for
yeah.
me
And
to
there's lots you
accept
can
that.
do without, you know, uh, betraying the confessional. I mean, you can just go and visit that person. It's like, oh, hello, what are you doing here, murderer? You know? Yeah, but still, I do think in cases like that, I mean, on the other hand, the church makes a case that, well, you won't hear the confessions if this is a general policy, which is also true. So, anyway,
Ah,
tricky
ah.
thing, tricky thing. So,
It was just way at that time, and they did that very good, and they were counseling, and they were providing people of good value. That okay, if you feel a burden, you can come and share, and that's it, and you'll feel good, and you have
right,
this
right,
understanding that okay, someone will not going to. You have this trust also that they are not going to spread it all over the world. No, so it was a value. It has a value, but okay, as the world is growing, okay, now you see that okay, there might be more some not so desired consequences of that thing also. So you can update about that. So it is good. At that time, with that limited resources, it was a brilliant idea.
yeah, yeah. So, I would suspect that if you now really got sensible, the church, if somebody does come in and
Hmm.
confesses to say, look, I'm going to be hurting this one and that one, that then your
Mhm.
obligation of the priest is to then say to that person, look, I can't let you go out and do this, and the church then has some sort of care facility where they say, look, you got to go into therapy or treatment or whatever. So, I don't know. It's tricky problem, but still, yeah, yeah, very interesting, very interesting.
Still 4:21
Yeah.
from me.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep
क्या
going.
हुआ मी
Oh,
क्या हुआ
hello, Amy.
हाँ अच्छा
Mm,
हाँ, क्या लेनी थी हाँ हम्म हाँ हाँ वाइट निकाल के दबा के भी निकाल आ जाएंगे क्या इनमें दिल्ली इस तरह से हाँ सॉरी sorry I need to say hello and I'm just coming in a couple of minutes yes
all right, sure, no problem.
okay thank you
Oh, hey, quite the cacophony over there, Beena. Quite the cacophony over there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. It was just very noisy, and I was trying to watch something of it. So
Sorry, it was noisy. My auntie and everyone was talking, discussing family stuff. A lot of like, okay, who did this, who said what, and all these things. So family stuff and she was talking. Okay, so just tell me when you are done.
1 second. Sorry.
No, no, no. No, I'm just. Robin will be here today.
Yeah, Robin and Sue. Yeah, yes, Monday. I mean Monday, Wednesdays both.
Uh, just an astrology sorry, I'm struggling with that astrology update. October will be a bit aggressive month in terms of communication and relations.
Wow. So October's going to be aggressive with when it comes to
Yes.
communications. Ah,
Yes.
interesting. Interesting. Well, certainly likely to happen in the context of in America with the elections, but this is a worldwide thing, right? Not just America.
Yes. Worldwide thing and also personal, on personal level also. Which is
Say
not
that
a
again.
good thing. On personal level also, so this is not a good thing.
Yeah. All right. We'll be careful, Beena. We'll be careful. We've had practice, see, so we're prepared now. We're prepared. We're ready. We're set. We have our strategies in place. Isn't that good? Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I do know. I'm prepared, Beena. You might not be, but I am.
Okay,
I'm prepared, Beena. I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
good.
So,
Oh, yesterday it was in. Sorry, continue.
no, some Fahim Bangash. She's mess.
Fahim Bangash, yes. He
She met.
messaged you.
Yeah, she said, "Hello, I am
He.
somebody." She. Oh, oh, it says he. Oh, okay. I guess it is a he. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay.
And then the name is Fahim.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is he.
Yeah. Um, it says intense fear of pedophiles, not pedophiles, since childhood. I said, yes, I was sexually harassed in my childhood. I said, do you have experience with pedophiles? How are you different now? He says, it means, how have you changed? No change, all fearful and insecure. You misunderstood the question. You're not a kid anymore, for heaven's sake, you're an adult. When I go outside, it comes in my mind that people negatively stare at me. Are you older, more sensible, more capable, more aware? Let me screen share.
Yeah, let me see that so I can and just check that way from where he actually belongs to.
It might not say, but I'm assuming something. You know, Fahim Bagash,
Bangash.
Rawalpindi College, India.
Huh? India?
Yeah. Well, he studied at the Rawalpindi College of Commerce. That's in India. I'm pretty sure. I've seen it quite a few times. So, but just at least from the subcontinent a little bit. So who knows?
Uh,
I mean,
okay.
he may have moved since then. Who knows? But anyway, so
Mm-hmm. Let me search him. Maybe I can get some idea.
it doesn't matter, Bina.
Uh,
It doesn't matter where he's from. That makes no difference.
it makes a difference. I will tell you later why I'm
No,
saying that.
I understand. There's a massive cultural sensitivity on this. But in any culture, pretty much, Bina, men who've been sexually abused are very sensitive about this. this. It's a big shame issue and all this. It doesn't
He
make
lives in Islamabad, Pakistan.
yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway,
He
that's what
can.
I figured. Somewhere in the subcontinent, you know. So he says if somebody's standing my back, I become nerves. He will touch me, right? So I said, if they negatively stare at you, why does it matter? What actual difference does it make? It is actually so that they do this or just a belief? And then he goes on. Anyway, means people, pedophiles stare at me negatively. How do you know? Yeah. Want to overcome this fear of pedophile? First, okay, then I just, okay, we're getting to a little bit now. You know, you just have to kind of keep going with people a little bit. Are all men pedophiles? No. Okay, that's a start. Be clear on that. There are many, many good men who will do everything they can to protect you and help you and hate pedophiles. Keep this in mind until it becomes a habit. Okay, thumbs up. Next, make a list of what you can do to protect yourself. Number one on that list is awareness. Be aware at all times, but be aware that fear attracts predators. So you need to be aware without fear. Okay, so let's continue, Beena. We'll see. We'll see what it comes with.
Mm.
Oh, Facebook has timed out. I'm getting this a lot. I never got this before.
Oh,
Facebook
I never got this so
completely
far.
crashing like that. It says it may be my computer. That's everything is slow. All right, let's continue, Bina. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
yeah.
Pangash. Pangash means that he might be Shia, and also he might belong to northern areas actually of Pakistan.
I really
Where
don't.
the
Yeah, I mean, I understand there's
ah,
a lot of cultural sensitivity, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is it's a big issue for him, regardless of why. So, how to deal with it. It's
ah, so I know what you are doing, what you are saying, and I understand that. Completely agree with that. But for me, it's a different kind of understanding. I can get more easily if I see that okay, Hungary is coming.
why,
People don't
Bina?
talk about it. Yeah, because people don't talk about it here. But it's a big, big, big issue in Pakistan. Okay, and not only an issue. The problem is much deeper. I will.
It's a problem
I, don't,
in anywhere in the world, Bina, and
I
people don't
know,
talk
but
about it. Men don't talk about being sexually
uh,
molested.
uh, uh,
Very,
uh,
uh, uh, you know.
uh, the problem is that he might be the one who has this kind of orientation in himself,
Yeah, I know, Bina. I know.
and and it's a very common thing there.
Yeah,
Pakistan's two or three cities near Rawalpindi are actually world famous for this.
oh, just,
Yeah, and there was a very huge case of this child pornography as a business. The whole city is in that. Like, I cannot go in much detail. That's why I'm saying that this guy is might be scared of his own thinking, that
oh, I
he is
agree.
going
I
he
agree, Bina.
is
I agree. I
he
agree.
is scared
I
of
understand the
going
feeling.
there.
I
Yeah, I know that you understand.
and
So
I'm saying it's not.
and
Yeah, all I'm saying is that to me the cultural aspect it's no different anywhere in the world, Bina. Yes, they make a big deal of it there, but it's not particular to there. Every country they make a big deal of it. So,
if it belongs to Kasur, every second home is involved in that.
well,
See,
yeah, well, I don't know. Again, to me, the underlying thing it doesn't matter if it's predominant or let's say he stayed in some place where it's almost unheard of. The way to deal with the issue is still going to be the same.
but still he might be actually dealing with those people,
I
and and
Bina, I
and
know,
also,
but yeah, I'm not saying that he isn't. I'm saying the remedy is going to be the same in either case.
but also that they need to leave that area also.
That would be something to recommend too. Again, sort of as a last or not a first resort because you might not be able to. I mean, it looks from the picture. my guess is that he does have the means to do that,
Yes.
and so. But anyway, we'll see. It's early days. We'll see how it
Oh,
goes.
this area, this city in Karachi, its name is Qasur, and this was in news all around the world for the dark web. You know that what dark web
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yes? Yeah, for the dark web and all sort of things. The links were all around the world from that city. And that
Exactly.
city is, I don't know how can I say that. It was scary. It actually took a breath out of me like every single time when I heard some news about that. It is not only a pornography thing. It is something else. These are the rituals they do perform on live video, the live streaming from Pakistan, that city, to all around the world. People are in those things. They pay, and it's a $1 trillion thing. It's a $1 trillion thing.
Yeah. I believe you, Billy. I mean, I'm aware of this stuff. I don't think it's just that's where they caught it. You know, uh,
It actually nothing happened.
no,
Actually,
no. I mean, where
nothing.
where it was exposed and they become aware of it.
Oh,
It
you know that what happened
everywhere.
of that case?
Everywhere.
You don't know what happened to that case? It's still getting dates.
No, no, no. You misunderstand what I mean by caught. I mean where they become aware of it, or where where the people expose themselves or whatever. So um, I feel that this is something that's everywhere. And again, it's something that okay. Hang on, he just says a lot of things.
But
Uh, let me just finish with him.
makes me sick even to think about that. I don't want to. So let's get out of this.
Yeah, yeah.
5-year-old girl. 5-year-old girl is like it's like the thing. Whenever you feel like giving up, think of those who would love to see you fail. Come on.
Exactly. You see my comment there?
Ah, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I thought that no one likes that, so but 7 comments. Yeah. Okay. No, don't. Yes, it's an inappropriate emphasis which will train your brain to be thinking about negativity. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Good reminder for me. I don't want to think about all those things. No. And what's important to others? Mm, yes, this too. Not yourself makes you dependent on perspectives of others. Yeah, you are right. Sometimes people lose hope, and he has almost give up. That's why I said, if you want to give up, so think about who would love to see you fail. Come on, again. Don't give up. Yeah, I figured you were looking to leverage perceptions and connection. I'm just cautious about solving one problem with another. I guess. Okay. So it's a good reminder for me. So I'm just allowing your comment. The other one, I'm just taking care of your comment.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it is a good reminder. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yes. I'm just utterly impressed with both of your abilities to communicate openly and with such respect to each other. Oh, I just love it. Good. We need to appreciate that. We need to, really. I better do things for those who loves me and don't want me to fail. Even okay, it's a positive one, but it's still doing things for others. Have you ever seen a cat really catch a mouse and eating?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Why
absolutely.
I missed that. It is missed by like a whole my
Well,
whole life. I never saw.
you may be. It may be that you're in a place like in New York where how can I self-aware and self-trust? Oh,
The cats here, they are vegetarian. They eat French fries.
well,
They
there
eat
you go.
bread and
No,
rice.
Bina, I know they can do that, but that don't mean that they won't catch the mice. It might just be that the rats there, which are a little big for the cats to catch, but
Ah, yes, yes, that
rather
might
than the
be.
mice. So
Because so I was just assuming that it's a myth that cat just love to eat
no, 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 they
mice.
absolutely do. Um, it's surprising, but the thing is too, though, that I imagine that you don't have it there where you are. The mice and the rats are somewhere else. Not there in your apartment or in the passageways. You see, so I
Oh,
mean,
we
you'll
do
see.
have,
You
we
do
do
have.
have, and
Uh,
I always saw cats running, and mouse are chasing them. Like, okay, you're messing up here, and they scared, and
that
they
seems a
just
little
run.
unusual, Veena. I don't know. Ask people
Wow.
who own cats. Ask people who own cats and see what they say. And we do a bit more
Okay.
research. I mean, you may have seen some unusual thing. I would be very surprised if this is a common thing. That would be very unusual. So research a bit more. It's very unusual. You now ask, how can I self-aware and self-trust? Mm,
Hmm. Okay, I will do that because I so because I never saw that, so I was just assuming that it's a myth, and cats and mouse are like actually Tom and Jerry. They cannot eat each other. They are not enemies. They're just irritating each other, and that's it.
all right. This is why I want the better help thing. This is a therapy issue.
Hmm.
Right?
Oh, you're still communicating with him?
Yeah. Well, he sort of said thanks, and then I just added a bit more. I said, um, lots of thanks. He said, I said, no problem. Practice and apply this until you can do this. Then come and chat again, and we can go further. It's not easy, but can be done. To be aware of yourself and your feelings is a big deal. It's a start. Also, moving to a different place will be helpful. And then he said, how can I put a heart? How can I self-aware and self-trust? I said, that's a deeper issue. It's I have a whole program to deal with this. It's something that has to be built like a house, step by step. First, the foundations need to be in place. There's a lot to it. No easy and quick way I know of. It's what I do. Help people to be self-aware and have self-trust. So. put a thumbs up again, and now he's typing. So we'll see. I struggle to deal with this. Uh, he says, please make some YouTube videos on personality development and Facebook group to help people. Anyway, so I'll send him the link. I thought that's how he got to me. I'm kind of interested to know, how he contacted me. I assumed it came via the group, but anyway. Interesting. Let's get the link for the group. Ah, I was saying on something like this, Beena, it's difficult to do in chat only. I find anyway. There's so much nuance that's
Yes.
missed, you know. Plus the language thing.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, all right, thumbs up. So, all right, let's continue, Beena. I'm keen to continue. Keen to continue.
For example, was the telescope, which resulted in a completely new basis for astronomy. And finally came rockets and space probes. Now you are going too fast, but you could say that a process started in Renaissance finally brought people to the moon, or far, and for that matter, to Hiroshima and Chernobyl. However,
Yeah,
it
Chernobyl.
all
Yeah,
began.
when they had the big nuclear fallout in Russia.
Mhm. Okay.
Where the power station collapsed, and then the meltdown of the nuclear core, and it created a whole nuclear wasteland around it. It's a big deal. It was a big deal. Still is, I guess.
However, it all began with changes on the cultural and economic front. An important condition was the transition from a subsistence economy to a monetary economy. Subsistence economy to a monetary economy. Toward the end of the Middle Ages, cities had developed with effective trades and lively commerce of new goods. A monetary economy and banking, a middle class arose which developed certain freedom with regard to the basic conditions of life. Necessities became something that could be bought for money. This is state of, I don't know from where this thing came, narcissist.
It's because we're talking about it kind of, in terms of the pedophiles, they all kind of.
Oh yes, oh yes. Necessities became something that could be bought for money. This state of affairs rewarded people's diligence, imagination, and ingenuity. Genuity, ingenuity. Uh, New demands were made on the individual. It's a bit like the way Greek cities developed 2000 years earlier. No, altogether untrue. Not altogether untrue. I told you how Greek philosophy broke away from the mythological world picture that was linked to peasant culture.
Peasant, yeah, peasant.
Peasant culture. In the same way, the Renaissance middle class began to break away from the feudal lords and power of the church. As this was happening, Greek culture was being rediscovered through a closer contact with the Arabs in Spain and the Byzantine culture in the East. The three diverging streams from antiquity joined into one great river. You are an attentive pupil. That gives you some background on the Renaissance. I shall now tell you about the new ideas. Okay, but I'll have to go home and eat. Alberto sat down on the sofa again and he looked at Sophie. Above all else, this was
Above all else, what?
I'm just I'm laughing because the way Sophie is actually treating him is kind of identical. Someone else treat her professor. Okay.
Hang on, it's
Uh,
identical to what?
Someone else
Oh,
who treat her professor in
wow,
that
wow,
way.
interesting.
Yeah. I had to go. I have to eat something. Okay. Now you are going too fast. Eated all the junk. Okay. Above all else, the Renaissance resulted in a new view of mankind. Resulted in a new view of mankind. The humanism of the Renaissance brought a new belief in man and his worth, a striking contrast to the biased medieval emphasis on the sinful nature of man. Man was now considered infinitely great and valuable. One of the central figures of the Renaissance was Marsilio Ficino, who
Who? Hang
exclaimed,
on, can you share so I can see?
Marsilio Ficino.
Wow, I don't recognize that name at all.
Let me
That's
share
why I want to
screen.
see it, you see, yeah. Please, Beena.
I'm so used to with muting myself, so instead of sharing a screen,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
see here, yeah, in the first paragraph, Marsilio
Marsilio
Ficino.
Filipino. Wow. Know thyself, a divine lineage in mortal guise. Never heard of him. Pica della Mirandola, another one I never heard of. Wrote the oration on the dignity of man. Wow. Socrates said know thyself. But anyway.
Okay, so one of the central figures of Renaissance was Marsilio Ficino, who exclaimed, "Know thyself, O divine lineage in mortal guise." Another central figure, Picatella Mirandola, Picatella Mirandola,
Yeah, you
wrote
got it?
the
Cool.
oration. Yeah, wrote the oration on the dignity of man, something that would have been unthinkable in the Middle Ages. Throughout the whole medieval period, the point of departure had always been God. The humanists of the Renaissance took as their point of departure man himself.
Yeah.
But so did the Greek philosophers. That is precisely why we speak of a rebirth of antiquity, humanism. Antiquity is humanism.
Mm.
But Renaissance humanism was to an even greater extent characterized by individualism. We are not only human beings, we are unique individuals. This idea could then lead to an almost unrestrained worship of genius. The ideal become what we call the Renaissance man, a man of universal genius, embracing all aspects of life, art, and science. The new view of man also manifested itself in an interest in the human anatomy.
Anatomy, yeah.
Anatomy, anatomy. Okay,
Yeah.
that is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Just flip your A's
Okay,
pronunciation generally.
okay.
The, sometimes it's A and sometimes it's A. But just whatever way you've been doing, just flip it.
Not all the time, sir.
No, that's what I'm
Sometimes it.
saying. Right. So whatever you default to, go to the other default, and then it will
But
likely.
in my mind, I had a different spelling for that. So I was
Oh,
anatomy.
oh,
I was
oh!
spelling
You put it with
O.
the oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So that's why I was repeating that
oh,
anatomy.
anatomy. Yeah,
Yeah. because I had the spelling in my
Oh,
mind
I
was
thought you were
anatomy.
saying anatomy, not O, but
No,
you know.
no, it was with O
Uh,
in my mind. That's
yeah,
why I looked at it again. Okay,
yeah,
anatomy.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because the A's aren't
But
consistent. Look like tomato and tomato. You know, I say tomato, and that's kind of an South African English thing. In Americans, they say tomato. But then, okay, they're at least consistent because they also say potato. But I say potato, and so in England too, they say potato, but they say tomato. Doesn't make any sense. But
and we call it tomato.
yeah,
You
right, right. So I'm just saying, it's inconsistent
tomato.
the A's how they pronounce, like glass and glass. Same
And
thing.
I
I say
get, I
glass.
guess in Spain they call it tomatina.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, that's where it comes from. So, you know,
Mm.
at least from the New World via Spain, it's
So this is interesting that when men actually start considering him or herself, then they start thinking about their anatomy, okay,
mm,
which was not the in emphasized consideration of human beings before.
right,
By implication, I understand that from this
right,
paragraph.
right, right. Yeah,
So
keep reading, keep reading, keep reading, keep reading. Yeah, yeah.
it is interesting for me. I was thinking about myself that why I don't think so many things I can understand. I have this understanding. I have this mind which can understand things if we try to. But why I'm so ignorant about few things and I'm so keen in other things? How? Okay. Am I
Because being
ignorant?
time and space, or at least time and energy, we don't always have the time to research and learn all we want to. So,
Huh. Okay.
I mean, I never studied biology, so I know a bit here and there that I picked up, basic stuff, but it's a part of my education that's kind of lacking. I don't have a detailed understanding. I mean, I probably couldn't tell you exactly where all the organs in the body are located, stuff like that, you see. Um, so, uh, and it's hard, just, even when you have the intent to learn things. I never felt it was particularly necessary because I said, well, you know what, there's specialists in this. I can go to them when I need it. So,
If I could handle the mathematics and the language at that time, I would love to study physics. This
mm.
was really interesting for me.
Physics, yeah,
But the
that's different.
yeah,
No, that's a whole different study. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
but not
that's very
but not the
fascinating.
not the chemistry and not the biology. No,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
never any.
same. I mean, those are, it's information that's detailed information. Physics is an understanding of the universe.
Yeah,
So,
so for me, physics was something I really regret for that. That if because
we
it
can
was
still
a
study it, Beena. We can still study it. So,
it was compulsory to read the mathematics and algebra and geometry. Okay, geometry I
uh,
still like that a bit, but other subjects were not actually making any interest for me. So that's why I was.
well, we'll study physics together, Beena.
Oh, I would love to
Yeah.
really.
Oh, yeah. Oh, oh.
But okay, but yesterday when Kay mentioned about procrastination, and I made a note and
Mm,
a draft file in my email about procrastination because for me it is more than
yeah.
just a laziness and ignorance and all that. And I was thinking about that before too. I am also like that. So I think that I'm the best person who actually do that. So let's write about it. Why not, Beena? You are the one who do that, who isn't. So not you guys. You guys are always on okay doing things appropriately. But I'm the one. And I said, okay, it's self-analysis, Beena. Go
Yeah.
ahead, do this. So I made a file and I made points in that, and I'm adding on that. So this procrastination is, uh, at least for now, it has many variations, different types of uh, procrastination that we have, and very subtle and very nuanced in that. It is interesting. So it was also procrastination. I was not studying maths and giving up on that. It's a part of.
Oh, good, Beena.
And I gave up on physics also. So,
we'll go back to physics. We'll go back to physics. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
okay, this idea could
Oh,
then lead to an almost unrestrained worship of genius. The ideal become what we call the Renaissance man, a man of universal genius, embracing all aspects of life, art, and science. The new view of man also manifested itself in an interest in the human anatomy. Anatomy,
mm,
anatomy. As in ancient times, people once again began to dissect the dead to discover how the body was constructed. It was imperative both for medical science and for art. Ah,
yeah, yeah.
ah, oh
Oh, and
yes,
it was
for art also.
a big, somewhat controversy. Like
Mm,
this whole thing of dissecting the human body.
mm,
Michelangelo and Da Vinci. I'm not sure if both, but at least one of them did this, and it wasn't a simple matter for them, to to
mm,
to do this. They got some pressure and stress about it. So
mm.
anyway,
But
believe
yes,
they
you're
had to
right.
do that in secret at least. So
Mm. But it is actually, I never thought about it, that even for art, you need to understand the
yeah,
muscles and the
yeah,
placing and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Wow,
That's what
wow.
Michelangelo said. That's they
Mm.
asked him. Or at least it came out with his sculptures, and he said he understood how it worked. So yeah, it's important. So, yeah, good for him.
Mm. Once again, it became usual for works of art to depict the nude. High time. After 1,000 years of prudery,
Prudery, yeah,
prudery.
prudent, yeah. To being a prude, not prudence, being prudish, little different word.
Huh?
Just
What it means?
to be a prude is somebody who is very sensitive to nudity, and they get very shy or ashamed about nudity, and they say nudity
Beena?
is bad, and a little bit you can be a bit prudish,
In,
yes.
in other words, Beena. Okay.
Well, a
Now I
little
can
bit, a
understand
little bit,
better.
a little bit.
What you are thinking, I am not a little bit, I'm big time like this.
I'm being kind and nice, Bina. Yeah.
So, in other words, Beena. Okay.
And not
And
just
was
nudity, but anything related to, yes, you are in this case quite pernicious, like the Victorians. You can't even mention the word that begins with a S. You got to say some alternative. So yeah, look up
yes.
the word prude. I'm interested to see what they say. Yeah, or
See,
prudish.
it's a handy thing to
What's that?
see yourself. Okay, where I sit here. Okay, yes, so now it makes sense to me. I can understand quite easily. Prudery. Uh,
No, they won't have prudery. Look up prude. The word prude, because it's
F.
yeah, it'll be a bit
F.
easier to see. Yeah, just
Oh,
prude.
okay.
Prude. Yeah. That's the root of the word. See, so then it'll say
A
prudy.
prude is a person who is described as being concerned with decorum or propriety. Significantly in
Decorum.
decorum,
Yeah,
decorum, decorum,
yeah,
decorum, decorum, decorum.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So decorum
Uh,
is like manners, etiquette, stuff like that,
mhm.
right? And propriety,
Significantly
same thing. It
in
goes a little
excess.
deeper, but yeah. Go
Uh,
keep going.
uh,
Sorry, keep going. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Oh, that's okay.
They're good words. They're good
Significant.
words to know.
Significantly in excess of normal prevailing standards, he or she may be perceived as being more uncomfortable than most with okay, yes, with physicality and nudity. Are you laughing
No, I'm just
secretly?
saying yes. I love your
Okay.
prudery, Bina. I love your prudery, Bina. It's fine by me. I don't have a problem with it. It is who you are. It's your thing. So it's all good, Bina. It's all good.
The name is generally considered a pejorative term to suggest fear and contempt of human physicality and excessive, unusual modesty stemming from such a negative view of physicality. It is hence unflattering, often
Now,
used as an
now, see,
insult.
see. Oh, okay, Bina, right there. Sorry to interrupt there, but that's important though. Do not get this idea, because this I do not see in you. Now, this was in the Victorian age. Oh my goodness, they were like super prudes, right? Because of
Mhm.
this, yeah. But
Mhm.
you aren't, Bina. Your thing comes from an innocent sensibility, and that's fine. It's an innocence thing. It's not. You
Mhm.
don't have a negative view of the human body, and say, this is something
No, no,
you're
no, no, no,
afraid
no,
of,
not at
and
all.
it's
No, not at all.
it's a bad thing, and it's like you sort of evil and all this if you into.
Ah,
Yeah, well, that's you corrupt, and you're a bad person if so
wow.
it's a whole moralistic
Oh
thing
no.
like the Victorians had, you see. It's a little
Oh,
bit of a moralistic thing for you, but you just have kind of a
it is.
shyness, which is a
No,
little,
okay. It is. It is about
say, innocence,
appropriateness.
right.
Okay, it is
Yeah, but I mean,
about
your what
appropriateness.
you feel is appropriate is it's just your personal view on this, which is a little different to most. You see, yeah, most people, they watch a movie, and there's a love scene in it. They're like, it's- they might even enjoy it, or they not might, they do. They don't see it as something wrong or inappropriate or anything.
Ah, okay.
That's Venus personal magic, which I find it's endearing, Bina.
Okay. No, but for me, uh, it is not about wrong or right. Again,
Mm,
I never thought that it is wrong. Okay,
correct,
this is
correct.
something not for me right now. That's
It's a
it.
personal preference. Precisely. That's exactly the point that I'm making, Bina. That's why it is somewhat endearing in you. It is Bina's innocence. And keep that innocence, Bina. It's a beautiful thing. Innocence is very different to prudery. So, yes, technically, some could say you're a bit prudish, but a bit, Bina, a bit. But I'm being very precise here, though, right? And I'm not
Yes,
being,
yes,
euphemistic
yes,
now. So,
yes.
because you aren't actually technically a prude in this consensus, yeah,
Mm,
you just have a little slightly different view of these things, which goes according to your personal sense and sensibilities, and that is as it's a function of your innocence, which is a good thing. And keep that. That innocence is a very powerful and necessary thing. It is that innocence, Bina. It is transformative in your life. And for instance, your relationship with Farouk, it is very much determined and influenced by that innocence. So it's not a casual thing, it's not a simple thing. And same thing, people feel this about you, like in how they respond and react to you. It's large measure because of this maintenance of your innocence, which is the same thing as maintaining your purity. And this is why in olden times, the whole, like the oracle, of Delphi, or the oracles, there were a bunch of them. They all had to be virgins, right? So it's,
oh,
yeah, exactly.
oh,
It's the same
oh,
logic, you
oh.
see. Underlying it
Mm,
is, it's to be your purity. You're not corrupted, and this keeps you pure. And also this purity of in this context, it is, in the context of virginity, it is also connected to holiness, very deeply, Bina. And and it is why the it's not just the Roman Catholic Church that advocates celibacy in this context. Many traditions do the same thing all over the world, Bina. The holy person or the shaman or whatever, you know, um, they are celibate or abstain, um, for the same reason, because people believe that once you give up that purity, you diminish your connectivity to to holiness, to God, to the universe, to spirit, and all this, because now your body is connected to different wants and desires, and they have a point, because that really does happen for people. So yeah, it shifts your underlying mindset and intent. So, and
oh.
it does change your connectivity to things. So it's a very valid point, Bina. Yes, I know it's very anti-Islam, but still, There is a logic to it, a very profound logic, one which
Mm.
I personally do find to be very valid. Just from a pure psychology point of view, once the body engages in that type of activity, it's a very, very, very powerful thing for the body. It's, as a feeling, it's more powerful than any other feeling. So of course, it's going to affect your psychology, right? I mean, simply through time and energy. Yeah. If you have something that's like, wow, okay, you go put a kid on the roller coaster and they just love it. They want to go back again, back again. That's all they're thinking about, the roller coaster. See? So, which means they're not thinking about other things. Yeah?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, it's
So
just
it's a
simple,
kind
simple
of addiction.
psychology. Exactly. It's not a kind of addiction, it's a very profound addiction. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most people won't see it that way, but I see it that way. And I don't care to be addicted. So yeah, it's a very deep addiction. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We are addicted to food. Likewise, see, the body sees it as a physical need, and I don't care for that. Okay, food, yes, technically is a need, but other activities, it's not a need. See, but the body treats it as such, and I don't care for that. Don't make me happy. So yeah.
Okay, so I- okay, we were chatting when I went out with Durre, and it was like a long time, and Umesh bhai was he had to take care of something. He actually forgot his handbag in the Uber, the taxi.
Yeah,
He
don't
came
call it
with.
a handbag. Handbag is for women. Just his bag.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, his bag.
I'm just saying you might be sensitive to that, or
But
most
it
men are.
was
I know,
okay.
I know. They call them. There's a big debate. It's kind of an amusing thing that
Okay.
this
Anyway,
thing
it
with a
was it
handbag.
was a it was a gift bag also,
uh,
not only a bag, so a gift bag also. And that's why he was making calls and going there to take care of
uh,
things.
uh,
Anyway, and we were talking,
mm,
and Ture was just she just said that, oh, everybody talks about that, oh, our friendship. And I said, but why and how they know? Because I'm not going arts council, I'm not talking to anyone else, so what's the point? And she said, no, it's a big deal. They know that we are friends. I said, okay, so what? She says, Beena, because they don't accept this idea that I can be friend with you.
yeah, I
Yes.
see why. Because she's kind of wild, and she has a boyfriend, and she's not married, right?
And this is what she said exactly. She says that because they think that I cannot be friend with a good person.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, but what is the point here? Who is good and bad? Who is deciding all these things
No.
and what? But she says, Bina, this is how things are.
Mhm.
For them, I'm not a good girl, and I cannot be friend with you.
No.
And okay, surprisingly, and when Umesh Bhai came, he always do that. He makes sure that okay, that talk to Farooq. Okay, when you are leaving from Uber, and he do track where my car is and make sure that. And sometimes he just came to drop me. That no, I will not allow you. And that okay, I will drop you, and I will talk to Farooq. Okay, we were there, and now she's back home. It
Wow.
is a kind of a like care here.
Mm.
And on that day also, when it was 7, he said, okay, book your Uber. And Guru was saying, okay, no, we can do it later. He said, no, because I have to go and I just want to make sure that Beena is at home, at least in the Uber when I will leave this place.
Wow.
And but
But well,
he didn't set this to Durre.
he
And
didn't
she
say this. He
was
didn't say this to
yeah,
do.
he didn't say this to Ray, and it and she noticed that. Of course, she knew that, but
No.
it is not a new thing. So I don't share anymore. But this is a common thing. And now you are saying that I don't know that why people get this idea that okay, I am not into these things and all that.
But leave
I,
it,
I
Beena.
never
Yeah,
I never talk about these things.
exactly. Exactly. That's why.
What's the point? See, no, but okay, okay.
Beena, on
Mm,
this point,
mm.
innocence is a peculiar thing. It's very fragile, right? So be aware that others value and treasure your innocence, and they will go to great lengths to protect it. Now, I'm sharing this because I do understand the value and the virtue of it. I also understand that one can deliberately maintain one's innocence.
Oh yes, yes. We discussed that, and
Right,
you mentioned that, and I realized that yes, it's a
right,
deliberate thing also.
right,
Yes.
right.
Mm.
So, in this case, though, when it comes up, just let it be and sort of just, move on to other stuff. Because to get into it like this too much can kind of collapse the bubble a bit. So be careful. That's
No,
all.
I never respond to that, even to Dure. I didn't
Ah,
said anything
oh, I see.
because
Oh,
it might be an ego thing also.
mm,
That oh, I'm something.
yeah,
I don't want to go there, so
no,
I didn't
oh, good,
discuss
good.
this at all.
Oh, okay, okay.
And self, the way I discussed quite openly with you everything, I
Right.
don't, I never did with anyone, and I don't do that
No,
simply,
no. Well, I thought
even
it
with my
came up in the
closest friend.
conversation that Dure brought up. You see.
No, she said she simply said that Beena, at Arts Council, my friendship with you is a big deal among other people. And I said, but what's the point? How they know that? And she says, no, but they know that okay, we are friends. I said, okay, so and she says because they assume that I cannot be a friend with a good person like you. That's it. This was her words. And I said, but and I said then the Veshwai came and it was convenient for me to change the topic. And then he said that okay, Jasmina, it's 7, you have to go. So I'm just uh, booking your Uber ride, so you can go back to home. So Dure came and she dropped me here with that Uber, and then she go to her house. She went to her house. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, but, Dure does the same thing
I,
Umesh does. It's quite fascinating. She looks out for you in the same way.
because I told her that I cannot go out like this because I don't know. Okay, the obvious reason is that I don't actually remember the ways, like okay, how to go from
Yeah.
here to
Well,
here.
you
I
never
cannot.
used to. You just need to make more of an effort to do so. You've
Uh,
kind of locked
and
yourself
this
into this belief a little bit.
and also the second thing is that I don't prefer to go out
Mm,
alone.
yeah,
Convenient, okay, easy for me.
yeah,
So, and the third thing is, it's still I don't know. It is something I cannot understand. But people actually pick me out from the crowd even. That oh, she is the odd one here.
yeah. Good,
So
Beena.
okay.
Good. So that's important. So that's why
So
you don't go
when I
out
go
alone
out,
because you are different,
yes.
Beena.
So when I go
I
out
think this is
alone,
a good practice.
it
Don't
will
go
be
out
like
alone. Yeah,
so that's why we don't do that.
yeah. No, it's just strategic, because so yeah, just appreciate and enjoy yourself, and it's all good, Beena. That's all.
I'm happy with that. I have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
interest.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so far, whenever
yeah.
I want to go, I go out.
Good, good, good.
It's not like oh, I'm just isolating in my home.
No,
No, I do enjoy,
yeah,
but whenever okay,
yeah, yeah,
it's appropriate with my family, with my friends. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
Saturday
Very
I
good,
will
Beena.
go out again. Saturday I
Oh,
will go
Beena's
out. Okay,
gallivanting a lot. Wow. All over the show.
with, with Shanta, we will go
Oh,
out
good,
for
Beena.
lunch.
Oh, good, 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 good,
She
good.
invites me for a lunch, and she says, "Okay, Tina." She's a vegetarian, so we will have something for lunch. We will have some snacks or something like that
Hmm.
because she's a vegetarian, and
Oh,
it's
why does it have to
not.
be snacks? You can have a full vegetarian meal, surely.
But
They have that.
it's not much variety in
Ah,
vegetarian food,
ah,
and and she is okay. She is also lactose intolerant, so she cannot have cheese
oh, wow.
and yogurt. So they are very much
Hmm.
restriction in her diet, so
Good.
she might choose. Uh, we will go and we will have
Yeah.
some some sort of like you guys have tacos kind of things.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
will
or
have
fries or
some.
something like that. Yeah. Interesting.
So we will have this and and some tea or coffee or whatever.
Mm. Good, Beena. This is when tomorrow?
No, Saturday.
Saturday. Oh, that's good timing because I'm gonna go to Benny again on Saturday.
So at what time you will go?
I'll message him closer to the time, but mm,
My will be I will come back before sunset.
before sunset. Well, that's
I
kind
will
of
be
when
home.
I'll be going, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
I don't think it gets up that early. So well,
Yeah.
what time is sunset?
7. So I
Yeah,
will
it's
be
still a
home.
few hours. So
Yeah. I will
that's
be
when
home
I'll leave probably.
6:30 or 6, something like that.
I'll see
I'll
with
be
him. I
here.
think he said 9 or 10 the last time. So maybe I can go a little later.
Mhm.
Yeah. So all right, we'll see. It's important to go. And Shamey had a bit of a relapse. He said that he was in pain and he couldn't walk. And then somebody said,
Oh,
"Oh, you're
oh,
pushing too hard," which is
oh,
possible.
yes,
He was
yes.
recovering too fast. So
Okay, because we think from our brain,
yeah.
but uh, but we feel from our body, and sometimes our understanding and our feelings do not align perfectly. So we stretch ourselves.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'll go.
No, but we have only 15
Just
minutes left. Robin will come. So
yeah, yeah. So he was pleased that I was said to come. So,
yeah, it is good. And
yeah,
also
enjoy
it
the
is good
visit.
for you. It is good for you also.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So all good, all around, all appropriate.
Hmm.
Very good.
Not particularly meeting with Benny, but going out
Yeah,
and
I know what you mean.
have a
I know what you
change
mean. I know
is
what you
good.
mean. I know what you mean. But it works with Benny too, so it's all good.
I was thinking that when we have another client, I would definitely say that hey, just go out and have something out at some restaurant or something.
Well, I don't want to go after COVID. I'm
Oh,
a bit
oh
COVID
yes.
phobic, Bina.
No, not a bit, but okay. Yes, it's appropriate.
Yeah, yeah,
It is good. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So I'm
Mm.
happy to be thing, and COVID. We probably have another year still of COVID. They the vaccines will
Okay.
come, but again,
So
people.
we
I
okay.
saying
So
this
we
about
will.
the vaccines, Bina. Even if they do, like Trump is saying, "Oh, we're going to have a vaccine by election day," it's unlikely, and it's almost impossible because of the way the trials are. And they had a big setback. The Oxford study, which is one of the very earliest ones, somebody got ill from using you know,
Mm,
and that's why you have the trials. Now, of course, they know that when you sign up for the trials, that it's risky. And but that's the point of it. You know, that,
yeah,
but still,
that,
anyway,
that,
I was saying even if they do come the soonest that it can possibly be, which is kind of by the end of the year, they
mm,
still to implement this, to actually get everyone vaccinated. This is going to take long time. So
mm.
because you have to do everybody all at once. This is a
Like the
big
polio and the other stuff.
yeah, but that was done over many years, the polio to get that in, and then you're doing it for the kids, but it took long time to change that, decades. So wow, I knew people like I had a teacher who had polio as a kid, it was
Oh, I know.
still common to
One
see
of the
that, you
one
know.
of the girl at a Chinese clinic at that time, she had a polio, and it's a common thing here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't see them now, but people still had it, but now
Oh,
it's
it's
been
still in
eradicated.
Pakistan.
Yeah,
In Pakistan, still people have that.
yeah. Oh, now
You
even
can
kids
see.
get it now today, even still.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I thought they've eradicated polio, so that's interesting.
Oh, it's a big deal here. Every couple of months,
Oh,
people
wow. So
teams
they
are
haven't
coming.
fully eradicated it then. All right. Well, anyway,
Every couple of months, people come and ask for,
well,
okay, do you have kids under 5? Okay, and so they make sure that they are getting vaccine
oh, they are
after
trying to.
every.
They are trying to eliminate
Oh,
it anyway.
big deal, big deal.
Okay.
Every
It
couple of
should be
months.
a big deal. It is a big deal. Anyway, so I'm just
But
saying though
still,
that
people are not doing that. They are
right.
killing polio workers because they are saying that, oh, it's a conspiracy theory against us. It's a
Ah,
conspiracy
Christ.
against us,
This is
and
the
it is.
Russians, boy. This is a very clever thing that they use this against people, and
And they
it
said it is
causes lots
against
of
Islam.
dissension. Oh, crikey, Ay, ignorance. Anyway, okay, go and have polio, and this is God punishing you for your sins.
No, we cannot let them go like this. Oh, go and
I
have
know, I
polio.
know, I
They
know.
will spread.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's just idiocy. It's just idiocy.
Yes.
But that
And
doesn't
it
stop
is.
people. It doesn't stop people, Bina, from being idiotic and suffering from the stuff. I mean, it's amazing what people will do in the name of belief, self-righteousness, self-importance. That's it. I'm holy. I'm spiritual. That's it. I can't be
Oh
defeated.
yes.
That's all. There's a lot of things that do this. It's not uncommon. Anyway, the point I wanted to make is, Bina, with COVID, in the soonest that they get these viruses and they complete the stage 3 trials, which is a very big trials, very important trials, and then that's assuming it all goes perfect. Look like this thing with the Oxford study. They had to stop their trial, and now they have to start all over again, right? Because they had this one that didn't work and it's caused a problem. And Trump can say what he likes, and he's trying to claim, oh, I'm gonna have a vaccine. That's going to backfire on him. But anyway, that's his idiocy. But I'm saying is
Don't
that
care about
even when they do, even if they do get it out in the
it.
soonest possible time, which is next year or end of this year, that still means they're going to take months and months to implement it. Because you got to vaccinate hundreds and millions of people to do anything on that scale. It's it's not going to happen overnight. So I'm just saying, in all likelihood, we're still going to have COVID with us for a whole year. So just to be prepared. That's what
Mm,
I'm saying,
mm.
Bina. Yeah, yeah. Be aware.
Okay, so in Pakistan, uh, somehow it works really well. We actually went down to 0 cases in a day. And then
All
again,
right. Now, I'm
some.
a bit
Uh,
skeptical of that, Bina. I'm a bit dubious. I think that might be a bit statistical manipulation, if you ask me.
okay, no, 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 listen.
All
Listen.
right, I'm listening. I'm listening. Okay.
So it was for one day or two. It was dropping. Okay, yes, it was gradually dropping, 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 and then we came down to 0, and then it started increasing again because people were careless. Yeah, and the
Exactly.
Muharram thing came, and now we are back again to 500 or something like that.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
but
quite the jump
yeah,
there.
but the interesting part is that recovery is really huge. The recovery rate that people are recovering and getting recovered from that is a big deal. And then all the newspapers and international newspapers and making articles about Pakistan. And India said, oh, see, because they are friends and they were together in this conspiracy against the whole world. So China get rid of it and Pakistan, see how smoothly they get out of it. So, okay, that was the thing. Huh.
I'm not
It
I'm
was
not
funny.
following this logic here now, but all right.
Yeah, yeah, it's an Indian logic or Asian logic. You can say that Pakistan is also same in that. Anyway, but the recovery rate is still a bit mystery, and actually it is a research going on that how it is happening
So
in
there's a
Pakistan
higher recovery rate in the subcontinent.
as compared to everyone else.
This is for the whole subcontinent.
For everyone, why it is making international news?
No, no, no. I'm trying to say, is the recovery rate
Mm,
higher in Pakistan only or in the
no,
subcontinent?
in general in the world it is higher.
Oh. So what? They are saying that the people are recovering faster from COVID than they expect. How do they know? What are
Yeah.
they basing this on? If the whole world is
Oh,
doing it, then it's higher than what? You see my point, Pina?
then
Why it's
what?
confusing what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
What are they comparing to? To aliens? To
Hmm.
to flu?
No,
To what? You know, they never had
no, no,
COVID
no.
before. So how can you say it's?
Comparing what other people in other countries are recovering from. Yeah,
That's my point.
like
That's what you're saying. The whole world. See, that's what I was asking, Beena. So you know. All right. So the
huh, huh,
which country has a higher recovery rate? Because when I asked you
hmm,
this, you said, "Oh, the whole world has the higher."
oh,
No, no, the
no,
whole
no,
world
no,
is saying that. Yeah. See.
no.
Yeah.
Pakistan's recovery rate becomes international news. Okay,
Okay. So
and
Pakistan's. That's what I was asking you. Is it only Pakistan's recovery rate, or Pakistan and India?
no, only Pakistan.
Only
India
Pakistan.
is
Oh,
yeah,
you see. Okay.
India is
So
in a bad situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that again, Bina, would be I'm a little suspicious because of propaganda and manipulating
Hmm.
statistics and stuff
No,
like this.
no.
I
Okay.
based on your
See,
government and how it is this a
hmm,
far fetched
I
thing?
understand. No,
No.
but
See,
understand.
right.
Try to understand. Try to understand.
Hmm?
We were getting money for more cases. Okay, like whole world was aiding. So it was in favor of government and corrupt government and establishment and
So
everyone
to
to
have
get
more
money.
cases,
Yeah, but surprisingly, what happened? The cases some okay start dropping and people are getting recovered. Like my cousin,
hmm,
I saw his X-rays, and it was white. His lung was white, and
wow,
her and his wife's lungs was also white.
wow,
Major part of their lungs were actually white,
hmm,
and they were on ventilator. They were saying that okay, we were just counting our time. But okay, this night would be our last.
wow,
They were severely affected by that. But they
yeah.
are recovered completely fine and doing well, really well. Okay. Huh. And other cases also. So it's a mystery that what is happening here.
Wow, that's
People are
good.
saying,
Wow,
hmm,
that's
I
a good
was
story.
laughing that because we are in a very poor hygiene condition, so this might be the case that we were already immune to that those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Okay. On the other hand, there is because people were really scared of this COVID, and they were attempting every single thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the herb, one herb, become a huge deal, a buzzword. People were distributing free to everyone in the factories, in the schools. Okay, schools were not
Oh,
open at
what
the
is
time.
this herb called, Bina?
Yeah, so and everybody,
What
even
is it called,
my
the
other,
herb?
I will tell you in English what is this word, this herb is called. And it's a common practice for Pakistanis to drink that because it's in Hadith. It is prescribed. But when the COVID come, people on celebrities were sharing, and everyone was sharing
They
about
made
that
a
on
thing of it. They made
Instagram.
a thing of it. Yeah,
Oh
went
yes,
viral. Went
and
viral.
yeah, and people were everyone like Mama also bought it for us. Yeah,
And did you get it?
yes,
So you've been taking it?
yeah.
Oh, how come you don't tell me about it? Thank you very much. Hmm.
Sorry, but okay, it's a herb, so I was not sure about that. Okay, I
Well, at
still,
least you could mention it. I could look into it maybe and get it. You never know. You know, in America you can get everything. So
okay.
it's okay.
This might be okay. Again, it is a bit suspicious. Okay, this is not a sure kind of a thing. Okay,
Yeah.
but my other cousin, she had that and she lost all her taste. She was saying, Priya, I was actually munching on green chilies and I was not feeling anything.
Wow.
My mouth
And
was
when
like
you say she
completely
had that, what do you mean that? Had what?
COVID, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because you
And then
see,
she said,
Bina,
mhm.
we were talking about the herbs, so it
Ju-
could have been from the herbs. Is that
No, no, no.
Robin?
After
Robin?
Yeah,
the,
I
oh
just have
yeah,
to get
Join
it.
us.
Yep, I just have to get a couple things situated here, so
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So on
okay.
screen share, Bina.
Mhm. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was not after taking the herb. It was before the herb. Yeah. She got that symptom and she lost all her taste and smell sense, and then after that she started having a fever, and then okay, oh, now it's a COVID, and she started drinking that tea of that herb, and she didn't even get any other serious symptoms,
So did
and
the
she's
taste come
fine now.
back as well?
Yes, And her husband also, yes, sir. They both were affected.
Oh,
So
very cool.
I
What's it
said,
called?
okay,
What's it called?
I will search. So this might be, again, no confirmation, nothing,
That's
but
why I'm
might
curious.
be.
That's why I'm curious to know,
Hmm.
do a bit of research on it and see.
And also, also our, our poor hygiene conditions.
Yeah, higher immunity. Yeah, it could be. But you would think Bangladesh then would have a similar.
Yes, India also, but I don't know, they are not doing, they are really in a bad condition.
No.
I'll give that to somebody.
Oh,
You guys can
brilliant,
find
brilliant,
a
brilliant,
link.
brilliant, brilliant.